Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. International Seminar and Sharing of Studies at the Polytechnic Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin with the University College of Mayut International UCMI. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Prof. Dr. Wan Muhammad Azizi Wan Sulaiman as Vice Rector of the University College of Mayut International UCMI. Chairman of Wahana Bakti Karya Husada Foundation Banjarmasin South Kalimantan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As Director of Polytechnic Kesdam 6
Waalaikumsalam
Banjarmasin.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Muhammad Ashraf bin Saleh, the first speaker. Dr. Muhammad Aizat bin Muhammad Zain as the second speaker. Ahmad Rashid Rida Ramadan as the third speaker. Lecturer and staff both Polytechnic Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin and University College Mayut International UCMI. The audience and seminar participants. Praise to be Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, God Almighty, because for His gift we can all gather and meet online at the Seminar International and Sharing of Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin, Polytechnic and University College of Mayut International UCMI. Ladies and gentlemen, in this beautiful day, allow me to read your schedule today. First, opening. Second, presentation. Third, discussion, question and answer. Four, closing. And five, and the last is a group photo. Will the audience, we are going to the first event, which is the opening. Be saying basmalah or event today is open. By the name of Allah, that has read by us, hope your activity run as well as we hope. Amen. Now we are going to core event. The core event or presentation will be led by moderator Rindar Putri Hilintang. Miss Rendar, time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Purwanti, to give me time to lead the presentation again. The first speaker will present material about statistical analysis using SPSS software. Before that, I will show and read the bibliography of the speaker. Muhammad Ashraf bin Saleh. He is a lecturer from University College of Mayut International UCMI. Educational background: he started his education at Bachelor of Biomedical Science in 2011. Then his executive master in Safety and Health Occupational Management in 2016. Work experience: between 2011 to 2013 in College Pusat Teknologi dan Perguruan Lanjutan Suh Alam. Arnold, from 2013, he is a lecturer in University College of Mayut International UCMI. He also have a lot of achievement on her career. Began 2013, he got on Beyond Expectation Award from PTPL College. In 2018 and 2019, he got Anugerah Perkhidmatan Cemerlang from PICOM's International University College. The last, he also got Outstanding Research Awards on 2020 from PICOM's International University College. Let me invite our first speaker today, Muhammad Ashraf bin Saleh. Mr. Ashraf, time is yours.
Terima kasih kepada saudari pengurusi majlis. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bisa dengar suara saya ya?
Bisa, Pak.
Bisa. Baik. Terima kasih kepada Politeknik Islam 6 Banjarmasin, kepada dosen-dosen dan juga kepada mahasiswa-mahasiswi untuk jemputan pada pagi ini bagi seminar internasional 2023. Izinkan saya untuk share screen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So for today, I will give a lecture about the statistical analysis using SPSS software. Okay, so my name is Mr. Muhammad Ashraf bin Saleh, and I'm lecturer from Faculty of Health Sciences, University College of Februari International. So for this morning, I will give a talk about the SPSS. So apa yang kita semua akan dapat pada pagi ini ialah pada dunia outcome. So the aim of this SPSS lecture is to introduce the participants today to the basic principle of using SPSS software by descriptive analysis and also for inferential analysis. So this is only the surface for the using of the SPSS. Okay, it's not a detail. Okay, about the test. Okay, how we want to look the detail for the output of the test. Okay, for the today we are just for the surface for using the SPSS. So apa sebenarnya itu SPSS? Okay, SPSS is Statistical Package Social Science. Okay, this is the very powerful and a user-friendly software package, and it is for the statistical analysis of the data. Okay, we have a lot of data and we want to make a conclusion. Okay, kita nak jadikan satu conclusion dari banyak data itu kepada satu pemahaman supaya data-data itu tidak banyak dan boleh tersusun. Kita memahami walaupun data itu ada have 1,000 million, so we can know, we can conclude data for one conclusion. So this SPSS is a software. Okay, we gather the data, kita kumpulkan data itu, makanya kita hasilkan satu output di mana output itu kita boleh jana dan kita boleh memahami walaupun dari data yang beribu-ribu. So sebenarnya ada banyak lagi software yang menganalisis data, di mana kita juga boleh ada data seperti R, software dan juga sebagainya. Tetapi SPSS is the most users, okay, yang paling ramai digunakan, okay, di mana sebab it's very powerful, they have a lot of tests and they have a lot of assessment that we can do, and also it's a user friendly, easy to understand for the user. Okay. So before I will go through the detail about the SPSS. Okay, so what is the significance of using SPSS? Why SPSS? Okay, because this software can deal with a large volume of data. Okay, kira-kira berapa banyak pun jumlah datanya. Okay, walaupun 5, okay, ataupun sehinggalah beribu-ribu data, sehinggalah berjuta-juta data, okay, they can give output. Okay, so this data we can collect from the online or the offline survey, or interview, group discussion or observation. Okay, katakan kita mahu membuat satu survei. Okay, kita mahu contohnya kita ingin melihat tahap pengetahuan mahasiswa berkenaan dengan COVID contohnya. Okay, jadi kita dah lihat bagaimana pelajar ini, adakah mereka tahu atau tidak. Jadi kita buat satu survei. Okay, survei ini di mana kita akan bagi kepada contohnya 200 pelajar. Okay, jadi 200 pelajar akan menjawab survei tersebut dan satu survei itu contohnya ada 20 soalan. Jadi bagaimana 20 soalan itu, okay, daripada kita dapatkan 100 mahasiswa, jadi kita inginkan masukkan ke dalam satu software ini. Nanti kita masukkan semua soalan dan semua jawapan mahasiswa ke dalam satu software. Okay. Jadi kalau kita berikan kepada historinya, sejarahnya untuk ini, okay, dia bermula pada tahun 1968 di mana dimulakan oleh Norman dan juga Dale dan juga Hadley Hall, okay, di mana mereka ini develop, okay, about the SPSS. And then for 1998, SPSS have been recognized as the most influential books of the sociology of all time because they gather all the data and give output. Okay, then they can use for the data management and data documentation. And now for 2023, okay, this SPSS mostly used by the students and researchers, okay, from many various of the fields, okay, such as sociology, psychology, economy, business study, medicine, engineering, and discipline. Okay, it's not on the health science medicine field that can use for this SPSS, but also can be used with other field also. Okay, so why we choose SPSS? Okay, why not other software? Okay, the first one because SPSS is the program that designed to handle a lot of data with multiple variables associated with it. Okay, walaupun kita ada banyak karakter yang kita mahu ukur, kita mahu measure, okay, dan kita ada banyak data, SPSS can handle it. Okay, so until now, SPSS have version, okay, dia selalu update, okay, sentiasa berkembang maju untuk SPSS. Okay, for the reason number 2, okay, it also has all the flexibilities of multiple analysis of data along with graphical representation. Okay. So, jadi SPSS ini juga tidak semestinya dia outputnya dalam bentuk table. Okay, dia juga boleh produce dalam bentuk bar chart, histogram, okay, pie chart and so on. Okay, and for the reason number 3, okay, because this SPSS turns out due to usability and superlative features that allow a researcher to use it. Okay, because it's a friendly user, okay, easy to understand, and also it's a direct can use as a direct instructions. Okay, tidak ada masalah. Okay, hanya klik, terus ada output. Okay, just we need to know the basic of the statistic so we can know how to use the SPS. Okay, so for this SPSS, before I go to and I show you, okay, the features of the SPSS, we must know about the data. Okay, the data that we can collect, and we want to key in the data into the SPSS. So what is the data? Data is information in raw or unorganized form, which is such as in alphabets, number, or symbols that refer to conditions, ideas, or objects. Okay. Seperti saya baru saja beri contoh tadi. Okay, kita dah buat survey. Okay, jadi survey itu banyak soalan dan kita ada ramai responden. Kita ada ramai kita boleh bagikan sebagai symbols, okay. It also the study conducted the we need data in order to perform any okay. Kadang-kadang data daripada hospital, okay, data daripada office dan sebagainya. Jadi kita mahu kumpulkan dan kita mahu satu. So, it is very important that the data must be a good data in order to produce reliable and trustworthy result from your research. Okay. Jadi data ini kita mesti collect data dengan cara yang betul. As a data collection, okay, how we collect the data must be a good way ataupun must be a true way. Okay, that can be a good data. Okay, therefore we have to plan how to collect the data and we must clear about the we want to investigate in our study. Jadi datanya caranya bagaimana, sama ada cara secara primary ataupun secondary. Okay, jadi secara survey, secara interview dan sebagainya. Okay, contohnya data yang kita boleh collect. Sebenarnya data banyak berada di mana-mana di sekeliling kita. Okay, seperti number of chronic patient in hospitals. Okay, hospitals we have a lot of data. Okay, berapa ramai pesakit, berapa ramai yang critical patient, berapa ramai yang pesakit diabetes. Okay, berapa ramai yang in and outpatient. Kemudian berapa ramai yang death, okay, number of death patient, okay. So there's a lot of data in hospitals, okay. It can be also data amount money spent by secondary school students, okay. Kita juga mahu tahu, contohnya kita mahu tahu pelajar mahasiswa ini sehari berapa banyak duit yang mereka belanjakan, okay. It also can be a brand of detergent most preferred by housewife in Jakarta, okay. Jadi mungkin dari segi marketing, okay, they want to know, okay, we want to survey, okay, what is the prime detergent they most prefer, okay, and also can be the percentage of patients in public clinics, and also monthly income of engineering graduates from the local university. So can be a lot of data, huge data that we can collect okay, surrounding us. So this is the data. So data, they have two types of the data. The data is the characteristic of the population of interest. So what you want to know, okay, about the population. Okay, maybe you want to know about the monthly income, okay, about the age, about the gender, level of education, type of household, and so on. Okay, so this type of data can be two types, which is the numerical data and also categorical data. Okay, which is apa yang kita boleh ukur dan apa yang kita tidak boleh ukur. Okay, apa yang tidak boleh measure. Okay, numerical is a data that can be a numerical scale, okay, numerical response dalam bentuk nombor, benda yang kita boleh measure, benda yang kita boleh kira. Okay, categorical data measure with non-numerical scale yang tidak boleh dikira, dia hanyalah kategori. Okay, contoh untuk numerical data, how tall are you? Height, weight, okay, berat, tinggi, okay, BMI, okay, berapa BMI-nya, okay, berapa banyak kereta, okay, berapa banyak anak, okay, dan sebagainya, okay, dalam bentuk nombor. Okay, kategori, okay, dalam bentuk kategori, di mana bila kita tanyakan soalan itu, dia hanya jatuh pada satu kategori, benda yang tidak boleh dikira. Okay, are you European? Yes, no. Okay, have you done, so kamu sudah makan? Ya, tidak. Okay, tidak boleh kata saya 30% sudah makan, 30% belum, tidak. Okay, so you must be you can be differentiate, okay, yang mana numerical dan yang mana categorical. Okay? So, kenapa pentingnya untuk tahu type of data ini? Kerana bila you masukkan data dalam SPSS software, you must categorize this data between the numerical and also categorical. Okay, tidak boleh salah. Kerana nanti SPSS akan baca, okay, adakah ini data yang bernombor ataupun data yang bukan bernombor. So, perkara kedua yang kita tahu sebelum kita mahu untuk pergi kepada SPSS software adalah type of statistical analysis. Okay. So, statistical analysis can be three types. Okay, the first one is univariate. Okay, uni is one, ini satu. Okay, variant bermaksud variable. Okay, jadi kita ukur ataupun kita mahu lihat satu variable sahaja. Okay, di mana single variable seperti mean, okay, purata, mode, median, graph, and chart. Okay, contohnya kita mahu tahu dalam kelas ini berapa ramai mahasiswa lelaki dan berapa ramai mahasiswa perempuan. Satu benda je saja kita mahu lihat, gender. Okay, ataupun jika saya tahu dalam kelas pelajar ini, mahasiswa ini, okay, berapa purata ketinggian, okay, berapa purata berat. Jadi kita mahu lihat satu sahaja karakter yang kita mahu lihat. Okay, so we call it univariate. And the second one, bivariate. Bi means two, okay, which is analyze two variables, okay, and we want to look at correlation, relationship, comparison, and also causes. Okay, there's a relationship between two variables. Okay, such as is there any different mathematics score between gender? So you want to, okay, the score of the mathematics, and then we want to compare between gender, male, female. So which one have higher score is that male or female? So we look at the two characteristics, gender and also score. Okay, it can be also what is the relationship between the level of knowledge and race. Okay, so we want to look, we want to compare level of knowledge with your race, okay, or ethnic. Okay, multivariate. Okay, so we analyze multiple variable. Okay, so also same with the bivariate. Cumanya kita mahu lihat yang lebih daripada dua. Okay, is there any association between parental care, okay, practice of religion, education level of parents with their disciplinary problem. Okay, so this is four variable ataupun four karakteristik yang kita mahu lihat. Adakah pencegahan ibu bapa, okay, keagamaan dan juga tahap pendidikan ini ada berkait rapat dengan masalah disiplin. Kita mahu tengok hubungan. So this is multi, banyak. Okay, variable yang kita mahu ukur. Jadi kita mesti memahami sama ada benda yang kita mahu analyze itu adakah univariate, bivariate atau multivariate. Dan data yang kita mahu ukur itu, okay, saya katakan sebelum ini, okay, adakah dia numerical data ataupun categorical data. So the basic one, you must to know this theory, okay, before you analyze. So, nanti saya akan tunjukkan, okay, bagaimana features of the SPSS. Okay, so they have the variable and also analyze page. So the first one is the variable page. Okay, they have the name, type, width, decimals, okay, label, and also the values. Okay. Basic column analyze. So then I will show you, okay, what is the variable in this with SPSS. Okay, so basically, okay, how to use the SPSS. I will also show you, okay, the SPSS. Okay, the first one, okay, you must create in the data. Okay, so you have the, such as we have a questionnaire. Okay, you have the questionnaire or you have a data from hospital and so on. Okay, the data must be raw data and also must be in mesti tersusun data itu. Okay, kerana kita mahu melihat apa variable yang kita mahu measure. Okay, you can be key in the data into the SPSS by manually ataupun boleh import dari Microsoft Excel. Okay, di mana kalau kita takut ada kesalahan ataupun error, jadi kita takut tersalah key, maka boleh juga memudahkan kita letak di Microsoft Excel. Jadi kita masukkan the data, okay, kemudian kita upload the data, import the data into the SPSS. Okay, after you get the data in the SPSS, okay, then you can do for the data cleaning. Okay, kadang-kadang mungkin kita masukkan data itu sepatutnya kita ada 200, okay, 200, mungkin ada yang tiba-tiba bila kita clean kita terlepas. Mungkin orang data yang orang ke 50 tak ada, okay, mungkin tiba-tiba tidak cukup 200, okay, jadi we must look for the data cleaning. Okay, ada tak missing values ataupun invalid data, okay, we look for the minimum value, maximum value, and also the outlier. And the last one, we can do analysis. Okay, what kind of analysis do you want to do? Okay, whether it's the descriptive analysis, okay, and also we can use for the testing normality and also the statistical analysis if you want to analyze more than two variables, okay, for the hypothesis. Okay. So later I will show you, okay, basically the features of SPSS. Okay. So if you want to do for the bivariate and also the multivariate, okay, this is for the international analysis. Okay, we must go for the normality test. Okay, before we choose the test, okay, to analyze, okay, we must look for the normality test. So what is the normality test? So why we want to do normality test? Okay, because we want to determine if a data set is well modeled by a normal distribution and to compute how likely it is for a random variable. Okay. Jika mahu analyze univariate, okay, jika kita mahu lihat satu karakter saja, kita mahu lihat berapa ramai lelaki, berapa ramai perempuan, okay, apakah purata ketinggian, apakah purata berat dalam satu kelas, itu tidak menjadi masalah. Okay, just klik analyze dapat result. Okay, tetapi jika mahu buat correlation, relationship, okay, hendak menggunakan test apa, okay, kita nak tengok hubung kait itu test apa kita menggunakan, kita mesti buat normalities first. Okay, we want to know is that your data, okay, is that normal or not? Okay, so we use normality test and then you can do for the comparison correlation test. Okay, so if we want to look for normality test, okay, they have two kind of normality test. Sama ada kita mahu lihat secara numerical, sama ada dalam bentuk nombor ataupun grade. Okay. Jadi untuk guna nombor, okay, jadi boleh gunakan mana-mana sahaja test. Okay, sama ada mahu lihat numerically ataupun mahu lihat secara graphical. Okay. Kalau numerical, okay, boleh gunakan okay, Kolmogorov spin-off. Okay, jika sampelnya, datanya lebih daripada 50 responden, Shapiro-Wilk, okay, jika datanya kurang daripada 50 sampel, okay, skewness di mana kita dah lihat symmetry, okay, kita dah lihat sama ada data kita, okay, shift to the left ataupun shift to the right. Dan also for courtesies, kita dah tengok pickedness. Okay, jika pernah lihat bell shape, okay, bell shape, okay, bell shape, jika cantik, bell shape itu berada di tengah-tengah dan juga peak dia cantik, maka data itu normal. Okay, that's why we look for the skewness and courtesies. Jika ada shift to the left, dia mungkin puncaknya ke kiri atau puncaknya ke kanan, maka kita lihat for the skewness and also courtesies. Okay, nanti saya akan tunjukkan. Okay, using graphically, okay, jika tidak mahu lihat kepada nombor, boleh lihat juga kepada graphical. Ini yang saya katakan tadi, iaitu bell shape. Okay, jika cantik bell shape ini, maksud data itu normal. Okay, sama ada kita lihat sebagai histogram, okay, dan juga Q plot. Okay, jika kita dapat data itu dalam satu garisan, maka garisan itu cantik. Okay. Okay. Kenapa kita perlu lihat kepada normality test? Okay, normality test ini yang menentukan sama ada kita menggunakan parametrik ataupun non parametrik. Jikalau data itu kita normal distribution, okay, maka kita perlu gunakan parametric test. Okay, jikalau data kita tidak normal, maka kita lihat kepada non parametric test. Okay, okay, contoh kita ingin buat correlation ataupun comparison. Okay, kita ingin tengok hubung kait di antara data yang kategorikal dengan data kategorikal. Contohnya, okay, kita ingin lihat perbezaan di antara lelaki dan perempuan. Okay, berapa ramai yang merokok dan tidak merokok. Okay, so dua-dua itu kategori. Lelaki, perempuan, merokok, tidak merokok. Kategori. Jadi kita boleh gunakan chi-square ataupun Fisher-Isaac. Kalau parametrik tadi. Okay, jikalau kita ingin lihat kategori dengan numerical. Contohnya gender, lelaki, perempuan, kita nak comparekan markah, score. Okay, numerical, score dalam bentuk nombor. Okay, kita nak compare by gender, lelaki, perempuan. Jikalau data kita itu normal distribution, maka kita gunakan independent t-test. Jikalau data itu tidak normal, maka kita gunakan man with TU ataupun Wilkinson Wright test. Okay. Jikalau kita melihat kepada categorical dan juga categorical, okay, ini sebelum dan selepas. Okay. Contohnya kita ingin lihat dalam mahasiswa ini, okay, mereka kita lihat markah sebelum dan selepas seminar. Okay, mereka mengambil ujian, okay, sebelum seminar dan selepas seminar. Adakah mereka lulus atau gagal? Okay, dia hanya dapat back name test. Okay, jikalau kita lihat kepada kategori numerical, okay, sebelum dan selepas, okay, kita buat pada pair test. Jikalau pada parametrik dan parametrik Wilkinson rank. Okay, contohnya kita mahu ukur gula dalam darah, okay, blood glucose level, sebelum dan selepas makan. So kita boleh guna pair test. Kalau normal distribution, kita guna Wilkinson sign rank. Okay. Dan jikalau kita ingin melihat kepada kategori dan kategori, okey, kita boleh guna chi-square yang lebih daripada 2. Kalau tadi 2, contohnya kalau 2 lelaki perempuan 2. Yang ini lebih daripada 2. Contohnya di Malaysia kita lihat kepada etnik. Okay, we want to compare between Malay, Chinese, Indian. Okay, so it's more than 3 groups. Okay, so we can use for the ANOVA. Kita baru lihat kepada numerical. Kalau tadi independent t-test, tetapi ini one way ANOVA. Okay. Jadi kalau tidak normal distribution, kita gunakan Kruskal Wallis test. Okay. Dan jika kita melihat correlation between the numerical and numerical, okay, maka kita boleh gunakan Pearson correlation. Contohnya kita lihat hubungan di antara berat dan juga tinggi. Berat dalam bentuk nombor, tinggi dalam bentuk nombor. Okay, kita lihat correlation. Numerical, jikalau data itu nombor, maka kita boleh buat Pearson correlation dan simple linear regression. Jikalau not normal distribution, kita gunakan square correlation, simple linear regression. Okay. Jadi untuk inferential analysis ataupun data yang bivariate dan multivariate, okay, we must know which kind of test that we want to use. Okay. Data apa yang kita mahu lihat dan juga test apa yang kita mahu gunakan. Okay. So this is just a step. Okay, I will show you the step. Okay. Jadi ini adalah features of the SPSS. So ini adalah SPSS. Okay. SPSS ini di mananya. Baik. So mungkin saya punya version agak lama ya. Saya punya version 21. Okay, kerana SPSS software ni agak kuat price. Okay, pricey. Jadi saya punya version adalah version 21. Okay, until now we have the version 26. I don't mistake. Okay, so if we look at the SPSS, okay, the below one, okay, at the left side, okay, we have the variable view and the data view. Okay, so this one is the variable view. Okay, so before you analyze the data, before you key in the data, okay, kamu mesti hendaklah, okay, apakah variable ataupun karakter yang data yang kita mahu masukkan. Okay. This is the hospital sample, okay, data hospital, okay, contohnya kita ada ID, okay, umur, gender, okay, race, and then the test yang kita gunakan di hospital, okay, di makmal, okay, so kenapa kita mahu tentukan sama ada dia bernombor ataupun kategori, so ini yang penting ya. Data yang kita mahu masukkan itu adakah dia dalam bentuk perkataan ataupun dalam bentuk nombor. Okay, dan juga di sini, measure sini, kita mesti tentukan sama ada data kita kategori ataupun dalam bentuk numerical. Okay, that's why it's very important that you want to know, okay, the type of the data. Okay, supaya SPSS itu boleh baca data itu dan boleh analyze data. Okay, so the first one you must put in the variable. Okay, ini contohnya lah, contoh yang saya mahu tunjukkan. Okay, so the data view. Okay, so ini adalah data yang kita key. Okay, sama ada kamu ini key secara manual. Okay, maksudnya data itu kertas. Okay, daripada hospital. Okay, so kita dah masukkan data itu dalam SPSS sama ada you put it manually, okay, you put the number and so on, or you can put it in Excel. Okay, letakkan dalam Excel and then kita import masukkan dalam itu. Okay, dua-dua boleh cara boleh. Okay, jadi kita ada data di sini. Okay, contohnya kita mahu lihat kepada univariate. Okay, kita mostly kepada analyze. Okay. deskriptif. Dikatakan kita baru lihat umur, okey. Kita dah lihat kepada purata mean boleh, median boleh, mode boleh, ataupun standard deviation, okey. So we can click. Okay. Jadi dia akan keluar output sebegini. Jadi kita boleh lihatlah mean, median, mode, okey. Ini jikalau kita lihat kepada univariate, satu variable saja kita mahu lihat. Okey, jikalau kita ingin buat comparison, okey, kita mesti lihat kepada normality test dahulu. Okey, di mana kita lihat kepada explore. Okey, contohnya kita mahu lihat data kepada fibrinogen PTT, okey. Sebelum kita buat analisis, kita lihat sama ada data kita normal distribution ataupun tidak. Okey, di mana contohnya kita lihat kepada deskriptif daripada histogram, plot test. Kalau kita comparekan by year, kita lihat, okey, test fibrinogen dan PTT ini kita dah lihat hubungannya dengan age. Jadi mungkin datanya tidak cantik lah di sini ya. Okey. So kita boleh lihat by the histogram ataupun kita boleh lihat kepada QQ plot. So kita boleh lihat sama ada data ini normal ataupun tidak. This is the QQ plot. This one, it can be QQ plot. Contohnya kita mahu kepada lihat kepada histogram dan juga kita mahu lihat kepada QQ plot. Jadi di sini kita boleh tahu sama ada data kita normal ataupun tidak. Okey. Setelah kita lihat kepada normal distribution, barulah kita lihat kepada test yang kita mahu gunakan. Okey, contohnya tadi kita lihat normal distribution dan kita mahu lihat di antara umur dan juga fibrinogen. Dua-dua adalah numerical. Okey, bila dua-dua numerical, okey, maknanya kita ingin melihat kepada Pearson correlation test. Okay, so as example, okay, kita kepada Pearson correlation. Okay, correlate bivariate. Okay, so you want to look between the age and also the fibrinogen. Okay, so this is the Pearson correlation. Okay, so keluar sudah keputusan, okay, di antara age dan juga fibrinogen. So hari ini saya hanya mahu tunjuk bagaimana features of the SPSS secara keseluruhan. So inilah rupa untuk SPSS. Okay. Jikalau ingin lihat kepada lebih detail, okay, kerana masanya hanya sebentar saja. Okay, jadi saya hanya tunjukkan secara keseluruhan. Okay. So we must look, okay, how to interpret the results. Okay. So secara keseluruhannya, so inilah SPSS, okay, how to analyze by SPSS. Okay. Saya rasa itu sahaja daripada saya. Okay. Okay, saya serahkan semula kepada pengerusi majlis. Okay, terima kasih.
Thank you, Mr. Ashraf. This is the end of our first topic. Next is discussion. Audience will have question, make us free, and audience who join via Zoom can raise your hand on Zoom application, state your name and where you come from. On the first speaker, I only open to question. Silakan kalau ada yang ingin bertanya. Please, the audience will have any question, just ask.
Mereka malu, Bu.
Audience, whether from UCMI, Polytechnic Kesedaman Banjarmasin, and Eka Harap, if we have any question, make us free.
No, Miss.
Thank you for Mr. Asraf who present the material and share some knowledge to us. Hopefully, we will meet again next time.
Thank you so much.
Without wasting so many time, we will join on a second speaker who will give discussion about the research methodology qualitative study. Just like before, I will show and read the curriculum vitae of speaker. Dr. Muhammad Aizat bin Muhammad Zain, educational background. He started his education at Bachelor of Biomedical Science in 2006, Master of Medical Science in 2010, and PhD in Medical Science in 2014. Work experience began 2009 to 2019. He have a lot of experience in research. In 2019, he is a lecturer on Lincoln University, Malaya. Lectured in Mahsa University in 2021. Then, from January 2023, he as a lecturer in University College Mayweb International UCMI. Academic and Design Awards began 2006 to 2009, GPA Scholarship 2010 to 2013, University Malaya Postgraduate Research Grant and Graduate Research Assistantship Scheme. Also, in 2014 and 2017, University Malaya Postgraduate Research Grant and May PhD Fellowship from Ministry of Higher Education. He also author of Bipolar Disaster, New Insight from the Healthcare Professional. Besides that, he have a lot of scientific contribution as a speaker, invited reviewer, and invited speaker. The audience, please welcome Dr. Muhammad Aizat bin Muhammad Zain.
Hi everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Can you hear me?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Thank you for the moderator for the very kind introduction about me. Okay, my name is Dr. Muhammad Aizat. Okay, so I will try to share my screen with you. Okay, so everyone can see. Can?
Yes, like we can see.
Yes, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so basically, I will talk about a qualitative research study. So I will try to make to cover this overview of the basic concept of the qualitative research study and how is the data collection usually done in this type of the study. Okay. Okay. So what is the qualitative research or qualitative study? So this type of the study, right, is basically an approach to obtain a lot of in-depth information from the people. And the qualitative research is basically is aims to understand on why people think and behave the way they do, right? And the qualitative research is a form of the social inquiry and that focus on the way of people interpret and make sense of their experience and the world they live, so that they can understand the social reality of the individual, the group, and also the culture. Okay, so you might wonder what is then the quantitative methods, because if you are in the medical science field, right, so you might more familiar in the quantitative methods. So to understand its to put it in the very easy perspective, I would like to give like some analogy. This is because, right, most of the time, people who are actually in the hard science, they actually have a very difficult to understand about the qualitative research. Okay, so analogy is like if someone, the backgrounds, the education background, right, from these medicines, right? So they work in the medicines field, maybe as a clinical doctor. So they learn the science from the textbooks, right? So about what are the effect of these hormones towards the bodies, right? On, for example, on how the caffeine, right, from the coffee can influence the moods of the person. For example, maybe can make them happy, right? And or maybe like some addictive drug, right? Some addictive drug might causing some people to maybe to feel euphoric effect, so extremely happy, tersangatlah happy. Okay, so people like this doctor, this clinical doctor, understand about many of this type of this knowledge, right? However, maybe this doctor is around maybe 25 years old, okay? Then he got married. Okay, he got married, so he thought that his knowledge, right, about human, basically, right, and can help him to understand about her partner, her wife. Tapi bila dah kahwin, baru dia faham apa yang dia belajar mengenai, mungkin dia belajar mengenai biological system, kan? Dia belajar pasal hormon, pasal otak semua, tak sangat membantu dia untuk memahami isteri dia. Okay, so isteri dia kadang-kadang ada bad mood dia, kenapa dia cakap begini, kenapa isteri dia tak suka something, kenapa tiba-tiba isteri dia tiba-tiba dia isteri dia sangat happy. So dia akan melalui fasa yang mana dia ingat, dia faham pasal dia dah belajar daripada textbook, tapi sebenarnya ada benda yang mana dia tak faham mengenai pasangannya sendiri. Okay, and that is the individual. I mean, like if he look at the partner. However, maybe we can try to see in the more larger picture. Okay, for example, maybe in the communities, in the small community, for example. Kan? So, apa yang kita dah belajar dalam hard science, kan, untuk dalam community kurang membantu. Saya bagi example mungkin dari segi survey yang dah conducted, mungkin kita conducted, mungkin kita mahu tahu mengenai vaccination, kan. Berapa ramai yang dah vaksin dalam maybe dalam kampung ini. Tapi bila kita dapat number, kan, kita cuma dapat the frequency of it, tapi kita tak dapat mengetahui kenapa ramai orang yang ambil vaksin, ataupun mungkin juga dalam komuniti tertentu kenapa ramai orang tidak mengambil vaksin. Okay, so qualitative will cover of this kind of question about why. Okay, about why. Meanwhile, for the quantitative, it basically will cover the question, the research question that deal with question of what. Okay, for example, like how many people have had the vaccination. And both of these quantitative and also the qualitative are very important, right? So they have their strengths, they have their limitation, right? And why the quantitative approach are important and can solve many types of this research problem, especially with the hard science problem. The qualitative research is basically it will deal with the different type of this question, especially the type of question that deal with the subjective experience. Okay. Okay. So we will try to see, right, from point to point, what are the difference between the qualitative and also the quantitative. In the qualitative, the aim, right, are basically to understand, to discover, to clarify the situation, the feeling. So the feeling, right, is that's why I said that is subjective, and also the perception, right, the perception of the community, for example, and also the experience that have been experienced by this the community. And meanwhile, for the quantitative, it only concerns about the facts about some phenomenon that have occurred. Okay, and in terms of the study design, the qualitative is designed based on the deductive logics. Meanwhile, for the quantitative, it based on the inductive logic. Qualitative is flexible, right? And then it will basically, the design, it will put all the detail so that this one, it can help for the others researcher to try to replicate by using the same design. However, it will not promise it can be replicated with the same outputs. For the study design in the quantitative, it more rigid, right? Because it designed very carefully at the initial stage, right? However, it's lack detail on the structural aspect, especially in the methodology, right? So we are not putting everything in the methodology section for the quantitative. Okay. Okay. The another difference between the qualitative and quantitative about is the researcher bias. Researcher bias is that there's perception from this researcher point of view in the problem, for example. Okay, so for the qualitative, it has the researcher bias. Okay, and why is that? is because a researcher perception is one of the research instrument in the qualitative design, in the qualitative study. Okay, what is mean by this is that the researcher is part of the study. So the way that researcher perceive the data is important for it to arrive in the conclusion. Meanwhile, for the quantitative, the researcher, right, and also the participant, the researcher is not part of the researcher the part of the research instrument. Okay, therefore, it can avoiding in the researcher, or it can avoid or minimize the researcher bias. That's on this researcher on this factor. Okay, in terms of the data collection, right? The qualitative if it depends on this participant observation, and also to conducting the interview. And however, for the quantitative, right, so we do like survey, right, to survey, and also to carry out like some experiment to answering the hypothesis. And for the data analysis, right, for the qualitative, when after we gather all the data, we collecting all the data. So what we do in during the data analysis is that we will develop a certain team based on the data collection. Meanwhile, for the quantitative, right, after the survey has been done, for example, therefore we will analyze this numerical data so that it will reach to the conclusion either we will accept or we will reject the null hypothesis. Okay. Okay, in terms of the purpose, right? The qualitative is basically to understand the subjective experience, to understand the belief and also the concept behind the belief. And the qualitative, it will one of the purpose is to gain in-depth knowledge of the specific context or specific individual or the culture. And this qualitative research, you also, right, it will explore some research problem that are not being explored enough, and this may resulting in these novel ideas that can be tested in the quantitative methods. That's why that many actually that doing the qualitative research, there will be follow up with this quantitative methodology. Okay, because the qualitative will give some insight into of a new ideas that can be tested by using the quantitative method. Okay, for the purpose of the quantitative, right, it will basically the data will be in the form of the frequency, in the form of average, or maybe in the correlation, right? And the purpose of this quantitative is to test the hypothesis that have been built up, that may be about the relationship between the variable. And the quantitative also to test this effectiveness of the new treatment, the program, or the product. So that's why that because of the purpose of the quantitative like this, so that's why that you can see that in the quantitative research, so it's more deal, for example, like to find the association, to find the relationship, to find the effect of a drug, for example, right? Because the purpose, as you can see here, between these two types of study are very different. Okay. Okay, so the next one, what I would like to do is that to explain about the research assumption in both of the qualitative and also quantitative research. Okay, the research assumption, right, for the quantitative, the assumption it stems from this philosophical branch from the positivism, which basically that it assumes that there is an objective and rational organized reality which is independent of the researcher perception as well as those participate in the research. Yeah, as you can see here, the keyword here is that the objective and also the rational organized reality. Okay, so that's why that we can, because of the assumption, this research assumption, so we can investigate about the relationship between the two variables, like maybe like smoking and cancer. So for this type of problems, right, or inquiry, so it much more suitable to use the quantitative research. Okay, so what is the assumption in the qualitative research? The qualitative research, basically the assumption is that the reality around us are basically socially construct. Okay, so therefore this it means that the reality cannot be measured directly. In other words, the reality is relative and multiple, and the reality is being perceived using or through the socially construct and subjective interpretation. Okay, so here is about the research assumption, right? So research assumption, you can think is like the fundamental of the quantitative research and also the qualitative research. So both of them have like a different research assumption. Okay, and that's why that from this assumption we will develop like a different designs of these two type of research. Okay, the keywords for the assumption in the qualitative research is that the reality is socially construct. So everything about the reality, it can be explained back through this social construct. Okay. However, I would like to clarify that the assumption, it must not be to be accepted as the whole truth, right? So maybe both of the assumptions are also correct, even though they are opposite to each other. For example, the assumption in the quantitative research, right, is that the reality is objective and rationally organized. Meanwhile, for the qualitative, the assumption is that the reality is socially construct. Okay, so here we need to understand first that these are just assumption. Okay, it's a research assumption so that we can do our research. Okay, so we go for the next one about the research question and also the research objective in the qualitative research. So we already understand what are the difference between qualitative and also the quantitative research. So we will like to go into how to what are the example of the research question in the qualitative. And because the assumption, right, that reality is the socially construct, right? So the qualitative research will focus on to answer the question of how or why question. Or maybe the better word is that the qualitative research able to answer the research question of how and why question. Okay, for example of the research question is that why do assessor fail to report underperformance in the medical student? Yeah, so the keyword here is why. Okay, and to relate this, right, the research objective will be the aim of this work was to investigate how widening policy is translated and interpreted for the implementation at the level of individual school. Okay, so the common verb, right? The common verb in the qualitative research question are identify, explore, to describe, to understand, to explain, right? So these are basically like some of the common words used in the qualitative research. However, if your question, your research question, right, are using words like to test, to measure, or to compare, so your research question might be more suitable to be answered by using the quantitative approach, okay, or quantitative research. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we want to go for the research design, qualitative research design. Okay, for the qualitative research design, there are 5 basic research design. The first one is the ethnography, the second is the narrative, the third is the phenomenological, the fourth is the grounded theory, and the fifth is the case study. Okay, so we go with the first one first. First one, ethnography. So the ethnography is basically a design in where that's right. The researcher or the interviewer will basically they will go or immerse themselves in the target participant environments, right? For example, right? Maybe the interviewer or the researcher, right, wanted to understand this how this some maybe like some rural communities, right, that maybe orang asli if in Malaysia, right, or native people, right, on how they to understand about their customs or their motivation, right, and their daily life or maybe their belief. So what this researcher will do is that they will basically they will live together in this target participant, right? And not only that, they will also to when they live together, so they will basically they will immerse themselves in the custom of their target participant. The goal is basically to learn about these people culture directly. Okay, and for the data collection for this type of the designs, it will have like a multiple data collection approach. So it can be like observation, it can be the interviewer to conduct the interview with the people directly, or from the reading from the of the documentary data. So this type of design, it will learn in detail and in depth about the action, the behavior, the interaction, the belief of the target participant. Okay. The second design is the narrative. The narrative research designs, right, of qualitative study, it basically it will weave together a sequence of events. It can be from one or two individual, and this one it will be forming a cohesive stories. So the researcher can conduct like in-depth interview or reading the document or look for the main theme of the story. It can be weeks, months, or even years to conduct this type of the research design. However, this final narrative does not need to be in the chronological order. It can be like in the story order. So it can be a creative story order. The example is like the stories, the interview, the life history, the journal, and also the photograph. Okay, means that you want maybe like you want to explain behind what are about this photograph of some photograph. Okay. Okay. The third research design is the phenomenology. So the phenomenology, right, is concerned with the study of experience from the personal perspective of the individual. The example is like to explore the life experience of women who undergoing the breast biopsy, or the life experience of the family members waiting for a loved ones undergoing the major surgery. So the data collection, it can be done through the interview, the conversation, the participant observation, action, research, focus, group discussion, and also to analyze personal text. Okay, the fourth one is the grounded theory. The grounded theory, it basically is a design where it's aimed to provide an explanation or to come up with a theory so that it can explain what the event is about. Yeah? The grounded theory will refer to a set of the systematic inductive method for conducting this qualitative research aimed toward this theory development. So for the grounded theory, right, it basically is aimed to develop a theory so that it can explain about a phenomenon. Okay, and okay, for example, maybe a human resource in a company, right, might want to study on why actually many of their employers are frustrated by their work. Okay, if they're applying the grounded theory research design, it means that the HR might want to develop a theory that will explain why their employee frustrating with their work, which basically from this theory it will leads to on how they will handle or tackle this frustration of their employees. Okay. Okay, the last one is the case study. The case study research design, it can be individual, it can be a group, or it can be communities, town, or the city. The case that you are select, right, become the basis of true holistic and in-depth exploration. And for the data collection, you can use like open-ended question. Okay, so it's either that you directly ask to this interviewee, or maybe you using like questionnaire but with the open-ended question. And it usually used, right, is commonly used in the qualitative research, right, and it's quite useful to explore an area where little is known and you want to have the holistic understanding of the case. So you can do the data collection from the in-depth interview, from the secondary record observation, the focus group, and also the group interview. Okay. Okay. So okay, as you can see, right, the data collection, right, one of the technique used in the data collection in the qualitative technique is that to conduct interview. Okay, it can be a single interview, right, or it can be conducted in the groups. Okay, so we call it as the focus group discussion. So this interview might focus like on this to get like some opinion or some perception or the attitude approach towards some issue that occur in community, for example, or some opinion about some service or program. So it the way that it will be conducted is that it's an open discussion, right? So it's not like everything is must be structured, right? So it quite flexible in terms of the way that the discussion will go. And it also called as the facilitated group discussion, right? And even though that's it quite flexible, right, and open discussion, however, it must be at the same time, it must be specific to it must be specific. Okay, the example is like to find out about the consumer opinion and some feedback on the product. Okay, the interview is basically the verbal interchange, the face-to-face, right, interview. And the interview will try to elicit the information to build about them, and then also like to elicit the belief and opinion from the interviewee. And the researcher have the freedom to decide the formats, the content, and how the session will flow, right? And the next one is on this participant observation. So we can basically, we can gather this data, the qualitative data, by using this participant observation. So here is like gather information about the social interaction or phenomenon, right? Or observe a close interaction with the members of the group that living in the situation. And we can collect it by performing like informal interviewing or in-depth interview, or performing the group discussion or facilitate group discussion, and or maybe reading like some previous documentation, right? Some, or maybe the oral history. Okay, so that's all. And then here is that the references in this presentation, and that's the end of it. And I would like to thank you for all for the listening. Thank you. And I return back to the moderator.
Thanks to Dr. Aizat for providing a very useful exposure to knowledge for all. Now it's discussion. The audience will have any question, free to ask, but before that, introduce yourself and where you come from.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Aizat.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. Is Aizat, actually, I have a problem with my mic, but can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm Rosine from Faculty of Nursing, PCMI.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, I do have one question regarding qualitative research. Can I use this descriptive method in qualitative research?
Descriptive methods, it means that you want to basically just want to describe it, right?
Yeah.
It's like the frequencies, right? Correct.
Not to see phenomenon.
For example, it is for example, right, the descriptive here is mean that you just are you referring for the quantitative research? Because we have the descriptive analysis too in the quantitative research.
Because I just want to know which my study is regarding to the what we call this spiritual. So that I just want to describe. Then I just want to explore what is happen with the patient regarding this spiritual need.
Yes.
So can I use this descriptive method in my study?
Descriptive method, okay. You will basically from what you have explained, right? So you want to know like the feeling of your patient, right? Correct or not?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So if you are basically, if you want to deal with this type of the research problem about the subjective or personal experience, right? So yes, the qualitative research are the best to maybe the appropriate tool to use to address this kind of the problem. So what you will basically what you will do is that to do like maybe like in-depth interview with your patient or do the focus group discussion, right? And then you will gather the data from there. However, I think that this descriptive analysis, right? You are not referring it to the like doing any numerical description, right?
Yeah. But the
No,
thing is,
yeah.
I just wondering, is it same like phenomenological type, or because because it is similar. It looks like similar with phenomenological.
Yes. Okay. This phenomenological, right, is okay. The research design, right, the ethnography, this phenological, right, the narrative, they have like some overlapping features between all this research design. It's just that where actually that you wants to maybe where actually that you thinks that which research design are maybe much better than others for your research problem. So maybe I suggesting, right, for you to try to see first what are the research question in your study, and maybe after that then you can use or maybe you can try to find like maybe one or two research design that are suitable, that are in the qualitative study, that are appropriate to answering your research problem. And it's not wrong to use like some research design, and I mean like it's not totally wrong to use that phenological study research design to answering your research problem, compare then to use like maybe like case study, because like I said that it have these overlapping features between this research design. It's just that maybe one is much better to answer your research problem than the another design. So you need to justify why you use it.
Okay, doctor. Thank you so much for the explanation. Thank you so much.
Okay, sama-sama. So hopefully that I have hopefully that I could my answer help you a little bit.
Thanks to Ms. Roseanne Osman, who asks about descriptive method in qualitative research. Dr. Aizat?
Yeah.
This is have a question from Carmelita.
Yeah.
What mistakes are often made in qualitative research and in data collection? Recording of observation and review contains individualistic element where research differ from one another. Does it affect the validity of the data?
This one from the chat, right? What mistake often made in qualitative research? Okay. This qualitative research, right? If is have this researcher bias. Okay. So so the researcher can have the bias in interpreting the data itself, And so you must make sure that or try to minimize your researcher bias as much as possible by validating your interpretation. Maybe you will try to have like some external validators, okay, or maybe you can have like a different group to conduct the same designs that you already did. And then so this one, and then just try to see if you both of the team will have like the same result or same interpretation. So however here I would suggest that if you want to try to see like try to minimize as much as possible, so try to go and search like on how to increase the validation, how to validate this qualitative research. Okay.
Carmelita, are you understand?
Okay, yes, I can understand. Thank you for the great answer, sir.
Sama-sama.
Thanks to Ms. Carmelita for the question. Maybe question from student Malaysia or from Polytechnic Kesedam 6 Banjarmasin.
Okay, this one the Hasbi Jamal, right? So he put it in the chat, so maybe I try to answer it. The question is that what should we do to encounter bias or minimize it? Okay. So basically we try like to validate like our interpretations or the researcher interpretation with the others groups of the that maybe the external validator or maybe others group, so that then we can see that if they will have like the same interpretation as we do, or if not, right, so maybe we can try to discuss what actually the differences between the teams, the research team. Yes. So hopefully that answer a little bit. Okay, sama-sama.
Please, the audience, who have any question, whether from UCMI, Polytechnic Kesedam 6 Banjarmasin, and Stikas Eka Harap. Once again, thank you, Dr. Muhammad Aizat, to share knowledge to us.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you for inviting me too.
You're welcome. The last presentation will be presented by Mr. Ahmad Rashid Rida Ramadan. Mr. Rashid will present the material about mapping of dengue fever risk area based on data prediction of the Aedes aegypti larva presence. Before that, I will show you and read the bibliography of the speaker today. Ahmad Rashid Rida Ramadan. He is a lecturer from Polytechnic Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin. Educational background, he started his education at Bachelor of Public Health in 2009. Then his Master of Public Health in 2014. Work experience began 2013 to 2015 in Budi Neon Company at Head of Management and Administration, also as a worker in Oil and Gas Company. And from 2016 to 2022, he is a head of research and community service unit Polytechnic of Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin. Now he is a management information of health coordinator Polytechnic Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin. And the last on his research, biologically effectiveness of Jasminum sambac and Stenochlaina palustris against dengue vector Aedes aegypti to the relationship hair personal hygiene and heat list in female student at Madrasah Ibtidaiyah Nurul Huda Mantul, Kota Banjarmasin. With all respect, please welcome Mr. Ahmad Rashid.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning for all. Thank you very much for the opportunity for me to share one of the result our study that it's about mapping of the new fiber risk areas based on data prediction of the Aedes aegypti larvae presence. Dengue fever has become a disease outbreak in several areas in Indonesia. The case fatality rate, or CFR, of dengue fever in Indonesia increased from 2020 to 2021 from 0.68% to 0.72%. One of area Indonesia is South Kalimantan Province. The case fatality rate of dengue fever in South Kalimantan Province increased from 2020 to 2021 from 0.78% to 0.80%. Based on the health profile of South Kalimantan Province in data 2020, the incidence of dengue fever 129,650 cases and 1,071 died. It's increased in 2021, the incidence of dengue fever to 104,171 cases and 1,598 died in 2020. The incident rate is about 50.75 and increased to 78.85 in 2021. The incident of dengue fever occurred in Banjarmasin City as many as 263 incidents. It had increased in 2021 to 474 incidents. West Banjarmasin district is the highest area incidence of dengue fever in Banjarmasin city. One indicator of the dengue fever is a larva density, which can be seen by the larva exchange. One of the prevention efforts took health promotion activities regarding to preventing of dengue fever in risk area. The program of health promotion strategy will run effectively and efficiently if it's based on data from the target area study. This can be done by making regional mapping based on data about the risk larvae presence prediction. Next. Okay. This method of study designs, subject and mapping design. This study was an external research method was conducted to identify tourists of larva presence using a web-based application, and then the data was applied to the map. The study population was 10,003 households. A sample of 100 households spread over 9 urban villages according to their respective proportions. The sample collection was using sample random sampling, and the data for each village can be seen in table. After collecting the data, then study population was 1,003 household. A sample of 100 households spread over 9 urban villages according to their respective proportion. The sample collection was using sample random sampling. Next. And based on the figure 1, we know the graphic, it's shown that the risk FX value based on each village for Basiri is 43.86%. For the Teluk Tiram is 48.38%. For Telawang is 35.94%. For Telaga Biru is 26.42%. And for Belitung Selatan is 28.31. And for Belitung Utara is 33.77. For Queen Cerucuk is 35.10%. For Queen Selatan is 23.74%, and the Pelambuan and the last for Pelambuan 33%. And we can see that the lowest risk in the Queen Selatan village and the highest risk in the Teluk Tiram village. Next. My research relatable to the research assessment for the presence of larvae has been carried out by several previous research. One have Fansiri et al. In Thailand, an epidemiological risk assessment showed that the highest number of larvae in a household environment would increase the risk of transmission of dengue fever in the environment. And number 2, Mr. Japi Attachment et al. In Cameroon. This and found that the density of dengue vector lava indicated a high level of transmission, so urgent action is needed to control to the mosquito population in the area. And number three, Udayanga et al., where the host, where the host index or HI assessment or the number of hosts with larvae in area we can use as indicator for early detection dengue epidemics. Based on the risk value, we can show the similarity figure that count for village and decades the category of it. We can see it in the table 1. Teluk Tiram and Basiri village have high category and other have moderate category. So this category data then become the basic data for mapping. Yes, and based on this value, yeah. Next, so this is map, and we can see it here the area with Banjarmasin district with pink and red color. Yes, the red one is a high risk category, and the pink one is the moderate risk category. The mapping research, in the risk of dengue has paper been carried of Kaunang et al. Also using GIS. Another similar study was conducted by Shamsir et al., which found that there was significant relationship between pathology-based dengue case. In additional, the research conducted by Anuriza et al., where is use the GIS-based mapping monitoring the incidence of dengue fever in Sragen Regency. The study described tourist mapping of disease, but the risk mapping based on larvae has been done. The conclusion next. The conclusion is the area with highest risk, Tiram would be determined as priority target area for the dengue fever prevention and control program. And also for the acknowledgement, this research was funded by Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Directorate General of Vocational Education in Novice Lecture Research Grant Scheme 2022. And next. Okay, next. So thank you. So that all my presentation. Thank you so much for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mr. Rashid. This is the end of our last topic. Now it's discussion. The audience who have any question, free to ask. But for that, introduce yourself and where you come from.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Rashid.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm Mr. Ashraf from UCMI Malaysia. For the methodology, can I know how did you calculate for the sampling size from the population and the size of the sample? Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry. Pardon me. Can you repeat?
Ada populasinya dan
Ya.
ada sampel size-nya, sampel.
Okay.
Di mana Mr. Rashid calculate, mengira untuk mendapatkan jumlah sampel itu daripada populasinya.
Oke. Untuk sampel sendiri itu saya pakai simple random sampling yang mana sampel yang didapatkan ada 100.000 sehingga menggunakan rumus sampel yang didapatkan adalah 100 buah rumah dari 10.000 rumah yang terdata di wilayah Banjarmasin Barat. Seperti itu, Pak.
Jadi ada rumusnya untuk mendapatkan sampel size itu ya.
Betul. Ada.
Bagaimana dengan feedback from the respondent?
Pick up we random 100 dari 100 rumah itu akan kita acak berdasarkan random sampling. Jadi nanti dari 100 itu kita acak masing-masing rumahnya yang untuk di wilayah Banjarmasin Barat. Nanti bisa di share slide ke dua. Slide ke tiga. Yes. Kita mengambil di wilayah Banjarmasin Barat yang mana jumlahnya ada 10.000 rumah, kurang lebih 10.000 rumah, dan ada sampelnya itu kita dapatkan sekitar 100 buah rumah. Next. Ini. Dan masing-masing rumah itu diambil berdasarkan masing-masing wilayah. Yes, jadi perwakilan masing-masing desa atau wilayahnya itu kita ambil beberapa sampel yang mencukupi sampai 100 sampel. Ya.
Jadi kriteria rumah itu tidak ada yang spesifik ya, apa inclusion ataupun exclusion kriteria, ataupun hanya random, simple random sampling, just randomly, not a
Yes.
specific house.
No specific. All we take all house.
Okay.
Yes.
Terima kasih.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone have a question? Ada, please.
Mr. Rashid, has a question from Hasbi Jamal Arifin. What is the advantage and disadvantage from this mapping design to curb to help us to curb change by regional mapping?
Okay. I will answer with bahasa Indonesia. From mapping sendiri, kita dapat ketahui bahwa membantu dari segi pemerintah untuk daerah-daerah mana nanti tindak lanjut selanjutnya untuk diberikan baik itu penyuluhan ataupun pendidikan kesehatan yang terdampak demam berdarah. Jadi nanti di wilayah tersebut akan menjadi perhatian khusus pemerintah dalam penanganan penyakit demam berdarah seperti itu. Mr. Tuan Hasbi Jamal. Seperti itu. Okay. Mr. Hadi Jamal, hope the answer your question. Oke, terima kasih. Is another one question again?
Any question? Maybe from lecturer Stikas Eka Harap? dan Politeknik Sedang Menang Banjarmasin. Apakah ada pertanyaan dari mahasiswa mungkin atau masukan dan saran? Please, the audience, do you have any question? Either from PCMI, Politeknik Sedang Menang Banjarmasin, and Speaker Seka Harap.
Thank you for attention.
Thank you for Mr. Rashid to share knowledge to us. The lecturer and audience, we are going to the last schedule today is closing. The first closing statement to deliver by Director Politeknik of Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin. Please welcome Ms. Tri Mawarni Eskepners MKep.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Yang saya hormati Bapak Muhammad Ashraf bin Saleh, yang saya hormati narasumber dan seluruh peserta Zoom yang berhadir. Puji syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena atas rahmat dan limpahannya jualah kita sampai di penghujung acara dan kegiatan ini masih dalam keadaan sehat dan semangat. Dan yang pertama-tama kami ucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada para narasumber yang sudah memberikan materi dari hari pertama sampai dengan hari terakhir. Tak lupa juga kami ucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada narasumber dari mahasiswa yang kemarin sudah mempresentasikan makalahnya masing-masing, baik dari Indonesia maupun Malaysia, dan itu merupakan sebuah pembelajaran yang sangat baik buat mahasiswa kita, karena calon-calon tenaga kesehatan ini luar biasa. Saya apresiasi sekali kepada para mahasiswa, para peserta seluruhnya yang sudah mengikuti kegiatan kita mulai dari tanggal 15 Februari sampai sekarang tanggal 18 Februari. Saya lihat tadi, saya tanyakan ke panitia, bahwa absensi kehadirannya juga full ya, penuh. Jadi alhamdulillah untuk hari di jam-jam mulai dari awal kegiatan sampai dengan hari ini antusiasnya luar biasa. Saya sangat apresiasi sekali. Kemudian kami juga tidak lupa mengucapkan terima kasih kepada pihak panitia, Ketua Panitia Ibu Hastin yang sudah dengan timnya di balik layar, para IT, sehingga kegiatan Zoom kita tanpa, walaupun ada kendala jaringan karena antar negara, saya rasa itu juga tidak mengurangi hikmat dari kegiatan kita pada hari ini. Semoga apa yang kita lakukan sekarang, kami juga tidak bisa memberikan sesuatu hal yang besar. Kami ucapkan terima kasih sekali kepada narasumber di balik kesibukannya, juga menyempatkan membagikan ilmu wawasan sehingga kita ke depannya mempunyai pengetahuan dan wawasan yang lebih. Dan juga bentuk silaturahmi kita antar dua negara, dan saya rasa kita serumpun ini saling bekerja sama ke kegiatan berikutnya. Kami memohon maaf apabila di dalam kegiatan kita selama berkegiatan terdapat kekurangan-kekurangan. Selama seminar mungkin ada keterbatasan dari sinyal dan lain-lain. Kami memohon maaf. Dalam hal ini saya mewakili panitia untuk memohon maaf yang sebesar-besarnya. Pergi ke hulu membeli lahan di Balikpapan. Mohon maaf kalau ada kesalahan, bisa kiranya kami dimaafkan. Kemudian semoga kedepannya nanti kita juga mempunyai kesempatan untuk bekerja sama kembali. Titip salam kepada Prof. Dr. Wan Muhammad Azizi Wan Sulaiman, Prof. Dr. Samsiah bin Mat, dan salam dari kami buat mahasiswa OCMI dari Politeknik Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin. Kemudian terima kasih juga kepada mahasiswa peserta dari Stikes Eka Palangkaraya. Semoga ke depan nanti kita bertemu kembali dalam kegiatan dan acara yang lainnya. Semai benih, tumbuhlah padi. Dari pagi sampailah petang. Sampai jumpa dan bertemu lagi dalam kegiatan dan waktu yang akan datang. Dalam hal ini, untuk akhir kegiatan, secara resmi dengan mengucapkan alhamdulillah, acara dan kegiatan seminar serta sharing study mahasiswa dinyatakan ditutup. Salam sehat untuk semua. Saya selaku pribadi maupun pimpinan institusi mengucapkan mohon maaf apabila terdapat kekurangan saya, karena pada intinya saya hanya manusia biasa dan kesempurnaan hanya milik Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Sampai berjumpa kembali. Salam sehat untuk semua. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Mawagni, the last speech will be delivered by Vice Rector of University College Maywip, International, Malaysia. For this matter will be represented by Muhammad Ashraf bin Saleh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi kepada Ibu Tri Mawani. Terima kasih kepada pengacara majlis, kepada dosen dan juga tangan Politeknik Kesdam 6 Banjarmasin, Sika Palangkaraya, dan juga mahasiswa serta dosen dari UCMI, University College Mawi International. Pertama sekali saya mohon maaf wakil daripada Prof. Dr. Wan Azizi bin Wan Sulaiman. Beliau tidak dapat turut bersama kita untuk closing ceremony kerana beliau ada meeting yang lain. Jadi saya wakil kepada Prof. Wan Azizi bin Wan Sulaiman. Beliau mengucapkan berbanyak terima kasih kepada pihak penganjur dari Indonesia dan juga penyertaan daripada Indonesia dan juga Malaysia. Sangat baik permulaan kita bekerjasama untuk kali pertama, dan kami juga ingin memohon maaf juga jika ada kekurangan dan juga ada kesilapan daripada pihak kami. Terima kasih juga kepada Ibu Hastin yang banyak berkomunikasi antara kami. Okay. Jadi harap ini bukan kali pertama dan kali terakhir. Kami juga ingin menjemput ibu-ibu, bapa-bapa dan juga mahasiswa dari Politeknik Kedah dan juga Sika harap untuk datang ke Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Ya, kami bisa menyambutnya. Okay. Dan juga kami berbesar hati bisa dapat bekerjasama dan sharing knowledge daripada Indonesia dan juga Malaysia. Disebabkan Ibu Trimawani menjual pantun, jadi saya pun kenalah beli pantunnya. Okay. Jadi saya tidak prepare pantun apa, jadi pantun biasa saja. Okay. Kalau ada sumur di ladang, boleh kami menumpang mandi. Jika ada umur yang panjang, boleh kita berjumpa lagi. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Alhamdulillah. Kita jumpa lagi mungkin di Kuala Lumpur nanti. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you to Mr. Ashraf who had delivered the speech. Hopefully we meet again, of course, indirectly. We have given the last material. We are at the end of our event today. All of us have truly discussed this event can give positive contribution. New knowledge, experience, and also quality in learning process with the students, participants, and also lecturers. Also, we would like to thank you so much to our committee who have helped carry out this activity and make sure that everything runs well just like we are expected without any trouble. Finally, from the deepest of my heart, I do apologize for my mistake in this event. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Well, the audience will be respect. We are entering the last event, which is a group photo session. I hope the audience to turn on the camera. Now we will take a pic from the first group. 1, 2, 3. The second group. 1, 2, 3. The third group. 1, 2, 3. The fourth group. 1, 2, 3. The fifth group. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Sampai berjumpa kembali. Terima
By saying
kasih.
hamdallah, our event this year, I declare closed. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. Sampai berjumpa kembali.